The first time we met Captain Warwick was in 1992. We were making our documentary on the Queen Elizabeth II. 10 years later, in January 2003, we got together again in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. He was still the master of the most prestigious liner in service, the Queen Elizabeth II, accomplishing his farewell world cruise. Ronald Warwick's long maritime career began as a deck officer on freight ships. It took a very definite orientation while he was visiting the Queen Elizabeth II for family reasons. His father, the late and famous Commodore Bill Warwick, was at that time the master of the Queen Elizabeth II, being the former captain of the first Queen Mary.
I knew it was going to be special, but he never really told me how special it was. He never told me he had a big room like this, and he didn't tell me he had all sorts of officers to help him with his work, and I was really sold on it. So when I went back to England, I made an application to join Cunard Line, and I joined as a junior officer in April 1970.
We'll do that anyway, because we might as well have something.
This is a message on behalf of the staff captain. Passengers are advised in approximately 10 minutes' time the ship's alarm bells will be sounded for a crew emergency fireboat and raft drill.
The function of the master on a transatlantic liner became more and more a social one.
My main accountability obviously is the welfare and safety of everybody on board, and then followed closely by the ship. So all those key accountabilities take precedence over the social ones, but at the same time the social ones are very important because we have many, many passengers who are returning to the Queen Elizabeth II all the time, and they like to see the captain, they like to speak to him, as in they indeed like to speak to many of the other officers that have been here a long time.
Hi, Captain. How are you? This motion's good for the dance steps.
When the seas are heavy, passengers, mostly the older ones, are completely relying on the captain's sensible advices.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to welcome you once again to World Cruise passengers and for the World Cruise Society. And I must say it's really very nice to see you all here tonight. I've been asked quite a lot about the condition of the ocean and how long it's going to last and things like that. And I'm very, very pleased to be able to tell you that I can guarantee it'll be quite calm, really as calm as a mill pond the day after tomorrow.
We came across again in June 2003. Captain Warwick is paying a visit to the shipyards, discovering his future ship. This time he is not alone, but joined by Stephen Payne, the naval architect of the Queen Mary II, and Jerry Ellis, responsible for the new builds at Cunard. During the building, they meet very often to discuss about the progress of the construction. But they never forget more personal details, such as officers' cabin accommodations.
Christoph or Xavier about putting a window in the captain's bedroom out to the day room?
In August 2003, the three future captains of the Queen Mary II traveled to Florida, the mecca of the cruise business.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, that's an interesting page. There's a whole lot of forms.
They are training for the use of new propulsion systems on a simulator.
There's going to be a big transition. The main one is the ship's going to be much bigger. It's going to embrace technology that we don't have on here. The propulsion system is going to be quite different, and the control of that propulsion system is different.
At the Star Center in Fort Lauderdale, engineers created a virtual model of the Queen Mary II. They want to tune the navigation technology of the new ship.
20 meters on the port side.
0 port side.
How about the depth?
Tell him to put it right on the corner, and then we'll tell him that's what we want the distances from.
On the corner of 92.
40 meters, 40.
We're going to have a ship which is much larger, have more crew. So it's going to be very challenging, but I'm confident that we'll be able to live up to that challenge, and when the Queen Mary 2 comes out, she'll be as good, if not better, than the Queen Elizabeth II.
4 months before the launching of the Queen Mary 2, we asked Captain Warwick what would be his first official announcement from the bridge.
My first announcement will be directed to the crew of the ship, that I welcome them aboard and give them some encouragement to deal with the challenges that lie ahead. I think that will be my first announcement, because a ship is only as good as its people,